Honestly, my cat would probably do better than me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'll bring Shadow over here, have him play for
He
me.
can't click the mouse, and that's
Wait,
the
is
only
it my
problem.
Oh, it's not my turn.
Just let him choose what color, you know?
Look how pretty my cards are,
Ooh,
guys.
What is
yeah,
that?
I like your deck.
How do you do
Oh, that is pretty. It's in the settings.
Yeah.
We can do it in between games if you want.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How are
I'm
you?
sorry.
It's okay. I had to draw.
I didn't edit my
Draw
deck,
card.
but I did edit the room, so now it looks like we're just sitting
I-
around a rug,
I love
edited
it.
my
just
deck
chilling.
in my room.
Same, OMG.
We're also- I think it changes to whoever's hosting because this is not the
Oh.
room I have. Mine's the Assassin's Creed Void room.
Oh,
Oh,
hell
So we're
yeah.
all
that's
just in a void.
Not as cute.
But this is I like hanging out in the void. It's nice and quiet there.
You're good? Glad to hear it, Jojo. Oh, thank you for the follow. Very much appreciated. Welcome to the crew.
I don't know why we're all doing the ooh voice today.
The autism.
Oh, it's the change
Wow,
of the
guys,
colors.
I'm feeling
That needs to be
autistic.
freed. Somebody got
Whoa.
home. And he likes to greet people when they get home.
Whippos.
He's a-
My feet are cold.
Uh-oh. Put some socks on.
Ew.
Put a
Oh
binky on
shit, that's
them.
my turn, isn't it?
Oh.
Aww.
Controlled.
Uh-oh.
Binky.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we're playing Uno.
Whoa.
It is a fun game. I haven't played it
Whoa.
in years. I think
Wow.
last time I even
Oh,
attempted
now
to
you
play
can
it was
see
on
my
PC,
my little
and
banner
it was
thing,
a
my
friend
border thing.
using my streaming setup to stream it,
Whose
just
deck
for
you gonna
fun.
steal?
So.
Gotta steal someone's deck.
You motherfucker.
What?
Freak
Wow.
you.
Change the card colors. Wow, that's magic.
Bastard.
Wow.
Oh.
What? Crazy. I'm
Crazy.
Okay,
Toss
you
me
want-
the room.
Queasy? I was queasy once.
Congrats.
I'm so sorry, bestie.
What?
It's
What?
okay.
What? What? What?
It's okay.
Absolutely
How do you
heart-wrenching.
challenge it? What does that mean? I'm gonna
You
challenge it
can
because I
put
don't know
down
what that
another
means.
card. Or it basically means that they put down
Thank
like,
you,
a
Aria
card code that
Genesis.
they
I
don't have.
appreciate it.
Or no, actually, it's that they
Yeah,
they
it's
need to
been a
not
hot
have
minute
the
since I
color that
played.
it was before. So if they still had red in their deck, then they would have had to draw the 4.
I hate that. Here.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, you bitch. I was gonna be nice and put down a 7 and take your deck if you had to draw some, because I would have had less cards than you, but no.
Oh, so I've accidentally started war.
Yeah, you just started a war. I like how this
Uh-oh.
is almost the entire KSMP allies and you just started a war.
Oh my god, it is too. KSMP allies play Uno.
Yeah. This is me being kind, just so you know. It
This
was my
is-
only
this is
red
what we
card,
do
but
at
I had
family dinners.
a worse
True.
card.
Yeah, this is what happens at family dinners.
These
We
are
play
filler
card games.
episodes.
Yeah, it's filler
This is the
episode.
beach episode.
Oh my god, it's a beach episode!
You bitch.
I'm sorry.
I challenge you.
Oh. Well.
I did get to see all your cards because I challenged you.
You won't
There's that.
say anything.
Oh wait, yeah, it's true. I saw all your cards because I challenged you. I didn't think about that.
Oh, I didn't even see Eight's deck. That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Fancy.
The geometry.
Hey, Finn.
What?
How you doing?
How to get me this thing.
Whoa.
AJ, why are you gonna get
Oh.
yourself banned from Arby's chat? I just saw that. What are you doing?
They came in and called me a bottom and then left.
That's a bit mean, isn't it?
Oh, I think I said this to Scoop before, but AJ's turning into my Twitch sugar mommy.
Here you go, bestie.
Mm. What?
Yeah. Cause she's donated the most money.
Hey,
What?
here.
I need to check stuff.
Well, that's something at least. But Ba-boom.
I need to go check stuff.
I do.
Or you
Need to
don't
make sure I'm getting
understand the Uno
pronouns correct,
grind.
okay?
The Uno grind.
I gotta make sure I'm getting those pronouns correct. Where the fuck are
Oh,
the
tell
pronouns?
Lily I say hi
That's so fair.
whenever Lily comes over.
AJ?
And
Oh,
I'm
she
glad that you
has.
cleaned your
I
room.
was
Good
getting
job.
them correct.
Wait,
If
there's
you
a
haven't
countdown.
heard it yet,
There's
good
a
job.
countdown.
Yeah.
What? There's a countdown.
Yeah.
You have limited amount of time to play
I'm
card.
like a drive-by negative.
That's what happened when Ray left
Me
for a
too.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
But
don't
it-
play a card, it automatically draws one for you
Oh.
Yeah.
in that time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I literally have no other cards to play.
What?
You can challenge me if you want.
Of course.
No, I don't know how. Oh.
Dumbass. I told you I had no other card to play.
Oh, what color is it? What's that
It's
blue?
blue.
That's so hard
I
to
have
see.
little
Bawoo.
colorblind icons on.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you're colorblind.
See, I'm not colorblind. I'm just dumb.
That's also
you.
fair. Yo, what the freak?
Oh my god.
what? You know
All
what?
the way up to
Freak you.
18.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Wait, hold
Whoa.
on. Hold on. Hold on. Not me.
Thank
Aw,
you, Jojo.
shucks.
Thank you for the
Sorry, Levi.
129 bits.
It's
I
okay.
appreciate it.
Real AJ. Also, do not perceive me. Who are you committing pity to? You're committing pity to
But
me.
thank you.
Nice. Bitch.
What? What? What does that mean?
What?
My goodness gracious.
What the fuck?
We will just
So-
turn everyone's.
Yeah, zero,
Oh!
whatever way we're playing. So like
Wait.
we're
Oh,
going
wow. I didn't-
clockwise right
oh,
now.
Hey, keep it here. I like
Following.
this.
Oh, ew, ew.
Do you love my deck, August? You love my
I
Wait,
card?
what
I
is
love
seven
your
do?
I'm
your
here.
cards.
It makes it
7
so-
swaps your deck with someone else's. Thank
Frick.
you.
I thought it meant. Okay. Never mind.
Save the Malays.
I thought it meant I picked whose turn it was next.
Yeah, I
Thank
like the
you
stream,
for
so I thought
calling
I'd
it
give you
out.
some.
I
Thank you
was
so
having-
much.
I just saw the button. I didn't know what it did.
I appreciate it.
I didn't
That
know
really
it
means a lot to me.
didn't-
Thank you. I'm
August
glad you're
didn't
enjoying
call out
stream
Uno.
too. I'm doing my best.
And when you don't call out Uno, you have to draw 2 cards.
I
Ah.
tried, but I did it late instead of
Go
early like a dum
faster.
dum.
You didn't
a
Uno
bitch.
fast enough.
No, I didn't.
Gotta Uno the fastest.
Yeah,
What was that?
your mom.
Your dog.
No, there was a fucking.
Your boyfriend.
Your cat. Biatch.
Yeah, mama.
What just happened? Something happened in my Twitch stream that did an audio, but I don't know what it was because
You're doing great. Thank you.
Chat.
That means the world to me to hear
notification
that.
popped up.
Thank you.
I'm confusion.
Mobby.
Take
Mama.
that.
What?
hmm
Only 5.
hmm
So,
Oh,
What?
so
What
we.
the
I'm
frick?
doing my
Oofa.
best. I'm doing my best. I'm so
I
sorry.
did this.
Hit the ass.
My
Oh, if it's like the gameplay bit specifically that's
Boom.
like stuttering audio and shit, that's just because I keep clicking off of it. Fuck you. It's just because I keep clicking off of it to like look at chat and shit.
Uh-oh.
Bitch.
No.
Uno.
Hell yeah, AJ.
So.
Ha!
Not good at
Oh, this is probably the best outcome I could have had. I appreciate this actually.
this. No.
My idiocy has helped me. No, don't you dare.
Oh, 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 oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Oh.
Whoa.
That
could have
deserves
seen
it.
this
These are
outcome.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
I
they're
never
like
could have
my best
imagined
card.
this.
That one.
That
I'm
one.
blue, ba-da-dee, ba-da-da, ba-da-dee, ba-da-da, ba-da-dee, ba-da-da. I'm blue, ba-da-dee, ba-da-da, ba-da-dee, ba-da-da, ba-da-dee, ba-da-da.
That very much sounded like you said, I'm a whore.
Okay, Jake, have some good foods.
I'm boo dabba dee ba da ba dabba dee
Da-ba-dee, da-boo-da, da-boo-dee, ba-da-ba-da.
Hi, bestie. Thank you.
No problem.
Out of the kindness of my heart, I did you a favor.
Yeah.
You're so
Mhm.
welcome.
You gotta hurry up.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Nobody's safe.
I was trying to make
Dun,
sure there
dun,
wasn't any secret
dun.
really good moves.
I got all
No.
the secret really good moves.
I bet you do.
Woo.
Blue.
Woo.
What?
No.
Blue.
What?
Boo-woo.
Ow.
What?
What? Someone placed on a 0 real quick, just for no reason.
No.
Not for no reason in particular.
No reason, just a 0. August in the clutch winning. Oh,
Reverse, reverse.
Hey,
Please.
hey, Augusto, what color?
Thank you.
What color cards you got?
I've got all green cards. This is so
I
bad.
just got
Actually?
some random color.
Sorry, I was flipping off Ray.
And maybe it came into the chat and just said loser.
Ray
But it
calls
was
me a loser
definitely
a
not
lot.
me. Trust me.
Mhm.
Definitely not Ray Taters.
Totes.
Great
Yeah.
tater tots.
Levi, aka Dark Nerd Cosplay, who's
More
the
like
rabbits
Gay tater tots.
character,
What?
is like our
Wow,
group's
homosexual?
No.
like our group Sherlock Holmes. I can't believe they didn't catch on that I
Whoa,
put down a yellow
freak
too.
you.
Bitch. I thought you only had
Thank
green.
you for the 116 bits, Jojo.
Green
Thank
makes
you.
My honest
Damn, you're
reaction.
being
Makes
generous
green.
tonight. I appreciate it.
Fuck you.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
No. Oh no. Oh,
Oh.
No.
no.
Oh, how the turntables.
I don't like this. But yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Jojo. It means the world to me.
What the
It
fuck?
looks like Levi's just like utterly shocked and confused because of the profile picture.
I am. That's why I chose it.
Hey, August.
Huh.
Fuck are you?
What the fuck?
Whoa. Hey,
Get
yo.
that.
You have to remember I'm a bully.
True.
You're letting a bully play a card
For
game
like-
with you. A bully.
True.
It's okay. I bullied you earlier. Seems fair.
To clarify, I'm not actually a bully. I'm just fucking around with friends.
No.
No, they're lying.
This
They're
is
a
a
big
legal
bully.
disclaimer.
No, they're
It's a
lying.
legal
They really
disclaimer in
mean
case, in case one of us decides to sue you after stream.
Yeah, I might get a bit bored and start suing Ray.
I'm
I
numbs.
believe it.
All right, thank you for popping by, Jojo.
Oh yeah.
I hope
also,
you have a
can't
great night.
challenge the normal wild cards if that wasn't fucking clear.
I do this, and then I do this.
What?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
What?
Red smile.
Ah, fuck you. That's the
Oh,
only
that's
color I
very
got.
you.
Oh. Bitch.
Up.
Yay!
Yippee! I get to bully 8 more.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, whoop.
Fuck you.
See, I told you.
Oh shit. Bestie, why you do that?
I told you
Welcome
what I
to
could
the
play.
Well, now I gotta do this.
What? Oh, thanks.
Oh, that's okay.
What? Oh, okay.
We're having a time.
We are.
Maybe we should have played Classic Uno for a shorter game, but I think we're
Yellow.
having fun with the longer game.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
This is drawing out so much longer than I thought it would. It's good. I like it.
Mhm.
Makes it a little bit more intense. Oh,
Bitch.
What
uh
the fuck?
Idiot.
I know.
Little dumb stupid man.
oh.
I know.
I wish I knew how to video edit.
Hey, Abe.
This
What
this
cards
would
you
make a
got?
great-
You
great
don't need to know.
Hey,
Okay.
Oh.
hey, August, they're mine
What's
now.
up?
What?
Damn.
Thanks.
This is not working out for me.
What the freak?
No problem,
The
mate.
freak, guys.
Those are great cards, aren't they? Such
With the
perfect cards for Yellow Zero.
Oh, poor
What
Abe.
the freak?
Oh,
What the
that was
frick,
rough
frick,
to watch.
paddywhack?
Give a dog
I
a
love
bone.
bullying my little sibling.
So do I.
What?
You bitch.
What
8
the
is
freak?
the youngest here. I'm the second youngest here, and then August is an old man.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
decrepit.
just non-existent.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're the middle child. Why the fuck
Yeah.
will we remember you?
Apparently.
I need
My
more
joints
power.
are old
I'm
as
eating
all
a
of you.
sucker.
You're eating a
I'm
what?
not sorry.
Sucker.
Ah.
What the fuck?
Sucker.
I'm gonna eat
Oh.
your stick.
Oh, you
That
gotta
was
change
mean.
the color.
Maybe.
Oh,
What?
Whoa.
dare you to challenge me. I dare you. Dumbass.
I love that I
What?
was staring at the profile picture while that happened, and I could see 8 working through it.
One day, I'm not gonna have I'm gonna have the cards,
no.
and I'm gonna do that, and you're gonna challenge me,
Oh, no.
and you're gonna be like, "It was worth it," and I'm gonna be like, "Fuck."
Was it
One day.
worth it? What did it cost? Everything.
Everything.
Oh my
This
gosh,
music is
8.
so jazzy.
8.
It's 8-8.
8!
6.
What the fuck?
666.
Whoa.
No.
7.
What?
Oh, you
Cause
bitch.
7, 8, 9.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
You bitch. You bitch.
Damn.
Mwah.
I'm gonna learn video editing just to edit down this video. To
That's
be
fair.
only the times that I called 8 a bitch.
There you go, bestie.
It's gonna be a 3-minute video. Which isn't that long for a normal video, but considering it's only the times I insult one person in a video game.
That's pretty good then.
What? Who shuffled this deck?
Me.
Oh no.
I'm really shit at shuffling, I'm sorry guys.
Ah. Why didn't you warn
I
us?
just don't like bending cards, it feels like wrong to do that.
When I gave you the
Right.
deck, you could have said, "Oh, I'm not good at shuffling."
I can shuffle cards. Gosh.
Ah, see, we
But
should
also
have
I
given it
didn't
to
want
8.
anyone else to bend the deck because people bend the deck and it's shit etiquette with the cards.
That's true. That's true.
I'm real
Get
good
a
at
friend.
shuffling. Because I used to play solitaire during class.
I'm real good at
Whoa.
shuffling because I took
Shuffling.
musical theater.
Do, 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 do.
I can do a Charleston.
Oh
Me
wait, I
too.
get it now. Are you freaking kidding me?
No, I had to. This is a non-joke joke. I know that they're fucking around. To clarify. I know I'm autistic, but I'm not that autistic.
Not yet.
Nope.
No,
Why are you threatening me with more autism?
I can't take anymore.
Frank.
Guys, please. Oh.
Oof.
Fuck. I was about to be so happy, and then I realized it was blue. I'm colorblind, you guys. That's why I have to have the little icons.
Take it back now,
Wow.
y'all.
Fuck.
What?
Oh.
I'm gonna bully 8 with these cards. I'm bullying 8 with every set of cards, but still.
Can you even add numbers?
No.
No,
Exactly.
I'm a
I
little
can
bit.
with my fingers.
Exactly.
I love how somehow magically we each get our own like little customized cards, even though they're all shuffled and shit. And like they'll be in other people's hands, and then suddenly it just turns into our cards.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
Didn't even think about that. Sigh.
What
It's
the
like we're
fuck?
manually putting sleeves on these cards every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every time we draw a
Fucking
card, before we put it down, we put the sleeve on it.
Mhm, mhm.
Guess what?
Mm-mm.
Bitch.
Hey, guess what?
Oh
Bitch.
my god. Okay, I don't have any more.
Just gonna
No.
say,
Me neither.
It was a good bit.
happy
It was a
birthday.
good
A bit.
Fuck you. That's the one color I don't have.
Six. What?
Blue.
Baloo.
Nuh-uh.
Blue. Uh-huh. You can't fight with the system. The
Nuh-uh.
system doesn't know how to fight. It's only numbers.
That's what you think.
It's what I know. I'm in computer coding classes and
Not for
crying
much longer.
because the system's.
Whoa.
What are you threatening? What are you threatening, 8? What are you threatening to change my career, 8?
Oh, no.
December 32nd.
What? Ah, you bitch! Yellow again. Yellow's the worst fucking color ever because it pretends to be green and it's like not green.
That's so true.
I
For
don't
those of
think
you
it
who don't
is.
know, I'm red-green
Are you,
colorblind, and
are you
sometimes yellow actually looks
colorblind,
green.
Levi?
What?
Are you colorblind?
No. Just stupid.
Oh. No, I'm colorblind. Like,
And
genuinely. Oh, we can double up. We got 2
Cute.
greens. 2 green 2s.
if you're so happy about it, go again, bitch.
Okay.
What?
I'll give you my blue. Oh. I was about
No.
to give you my blue 2, and then I realized it wasn't a 2 anymore.
Bitch.
Please give me a 9. Please, I don't want to be yellow anymore. I'll take
Ah.
it. Someone change the color. I hate yellow.
Yeah. Change it.
No, not for you. No.
What?
Here you go. Happy
thought-
birthday.
What?
Happy Christmas.
What?
Goodness.
Oh, brother.
Hustler.
What the freak?
Shucks.
Why is this one round taking so long? We've been playing this game for like half an hour
Because
already.
you're mentally ill.
We
Oh damn,
are.
I have.
Oh wait, I got 8 cards.
What?
I'm stealing 8's brand.
8 beat him up.
Boom boom.
Take him out back.
He can't fucking beat me up. I'm too
Yeah, I
heavy.
can.
I'll just sit down on him.
You think that's gonna stop me?
Yes.
Not
You
really.
do not know how much I weigh. And also, then I'll bite your ankles.
No.
Uh-huh. It's really easy to do. You thought about challenging me for a second, didn't you?
Yeah.
I got it.
Who's... Okay.
I got it.
Oh.
You're just giving August a better hand.
I had no other option.
It's
Thanks,
just gonna give
bestie.
it back right to you. Okay, that's nice.
I know.
Sorry, but it's not yours anymore.
What?
Never let it be said I'm not
That's so
kind.
nice. Mostly because it's not yours anymore either, Ray.
What?
Bullying.
I hate this game.
I love this game. August knew exactly what was gonna happen when they teamed us all up to play fucking Uno.
You're right.
Here you go, Ray.
You know how I feel about yellow. Go into the best color. Green. Green
That is
doesn't
the
lie
best
to
color.
me. Yellow lies to me about being green, but green doesn't lie about being yellow.
What?
Oh, a
You forgot to say Uno. Oh no, it challenged me.
yeah.
Like that one.
What? I'm tired.
Oh.
No, we're playing Unos.
What?
Can't be tired.
Oh, I guess that's
Mhm.
white. Speaking of white, you go again, August.
Okay.
Take it back now, y'all.
Oh.
One up this time.
Did.
Oh, thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Oh, hey, watch
That's
this. Watch
gay.
it. Watch it. Watch this.
Wow.
Wow. You guys are being nice to each other while me and Aid are brutally bullying each other as hard as we can.
Cause we're
Oh, I wish I could double up. I had another green pie.
Oh shit.
I wish I could double a dog.
Come on. Come on.
Double dog dare you to double dog dare me.
Bet.
Yeah, I wish I could triple dog dare you to take all of my cards.
Nah, good. What?
You know what? Frick you.
What?
What?
Yeah, Ray. Frick you.
Oh shit.
Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
What?
What?
Wow.
August, I'm so sorry.
Why?
I'm so sorry.
Don't do it,
I'm
please.
so sorry.
No.
I even had other blue cards that I could have done instead, so I'm not really all that
Why?
I got you, bestie.
sorry.
Oh, thank you, bestie.
I am a criminal. Wanted in 5 states
What are those states?
for arson.
Oh, thanks,
Nevada.
bestie.
You're welcome.
Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii,
What?
Mm-hmm.
New York,
That's fair.
um,
We don't want you.
Thank you for the
Oh.
raid, Hugo!
The timing.
I can't hear anything when people raid because my volume, like, maxes out with the raid audio. Anyways, what was the
What?
last day I was gonna say? Oh yeah, South California. Because North and South are definitely 2 different states of California.
Yeah,
If
totes.
I learned anything from Californians.
Goats, my goats.
Welcome, people! Welcome!
Sorry, my ankles are like chewed up from bugs and I keep playing with the scabs.
We are
Oh.
not getting ready to end again this
Thanks.
time. We did just start like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Last time I streamed, Mommy raided in right as I was ending.
Oh.
But no, we just started this. We've been playing this one game for like half an hour, and I've been bullying
Push and
Aid.
pull like a magnet too.
It's only fair.
Oh.
It's only fair.
Yeah.
Listen, if
Oh
he's
my
gonna
God.
I have to add them in the
Holy
stacks
shit.
now. That's adorable. I have so many cards.
What? Why would you do that?
Cause I had to. I'm sorry.
No. No. No.
I'm not sorry.
Oh.
I'm not sorry at all.
Oh, this works out. Okay.
Thanks.
I need a burp. Bye, Hugo. Have fun. Stay safe.
Oh.
Yeah, unwind and eat food.
What?
Drink some water.
Oh.
What?
That was a
Go
good
to a stream
choice.
for 4.5 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know, they need a break. They need
Mhm.
a break. I will murder you when you're sweet.
I hate that
I
color.
hope you know that. I hope you know that I'm gonna come for your toes.
Nom, nom, nom,
I'm
nom, nom.
going to come for your toes. I'm
Oh.
not eating
Hey,
them.
that's my
I am
number.
slicing them off one by
What?
one
Mhm.
and putting them in tiny little jars. Individual little jars.
What?
And I'm
What?
putting them on your bedside
What?
table.
Thank you for the
Yay.
raid, Jax. Welcome in, everybody. How was
And I'm
stream,
taking a
Jax?
Oh, I already
And
have
I'm
those.
making a
I'm playing
necklace out
some
of your teeth.
Uno with
I
my
already
friends
have them.
Ray, 8, and Levi.
Mm-hmm. But
And this has been going on for half an hour
Okay.
already.
I don't need them.
But yeah, welcome in. What
And then
the
I'm taking
fuck?
your left pinky nail
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
On my hands or my toes? Wait.
on your hands.
Oh, okay.
And I am dipping it into soy sauce and letting
Mm.
it sit.
What?
I'm committing violent actions over a card game.
Understandable.
This is all
Oh.
a joke. Disclaimer, I'm not
Never.
actually going to do any of
Never
this.
will.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kat.
you will.
Glad to hear it.
Fuck you,
You're
Kat.
playing Undertale, right? No.
Why? You just... What? You just got the best hand.
Their hand has no yellow in it.
I think it's better than 22 cards, personally. But
Yeah.
what do I know?
It's how old I'm turning.
That's awesome. I haven't played it personally, but I always hear great things about it. And I love one of the songs that was made for it. One of the like rap songs. I don't remember the name of it, but I fucking love that shit.
Blue. Blue is second best color.
Bawoo.
Out of the Uno cards. Second best
Disagree.
color overall is pink. But not red. Pink. Red is like
Oh,
Ugh.
6th place.
that hurts. That's a little painful.
Yeah, here. I had to do what I had to do.
I
You did that
get
to
it.
yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack for the game itself is so good. I love it.
Perfect. Oh no, my stream disconnected.
Uh-oh.
And oop.
That's not healthy.
My
Mm-mm.
OBS says everything's fine. It's loading.
Hmm.
Okay, it's back. We're good.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, thanks Hugo for the clip. I don't know how long ago that was.
No, thank you, Hugo, for the clip. Grr. Hey. You watch that.
Or what?
I'll beat you up.
No.
Enjoy your lurk,
'Cause I
Jax.
dare you.
I don't.
What?
Thank you. Bye, Hugo. Smooth jazz.
Huge ass.
Me and Levi understood the borders assignment.
Yeah, we did. What is that?
I didn't like any of them with my
To
profile
have a
picture.
border.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted the space
I didn't know how
one.
to put one on smiley face.
The space one's automatically unlocked.
Yeah.
What? I didn't say anything about like I couldn't. I just didn't. I wanted it, but like it didn't go with the Assassin's
Oh,
Creed.
it's the aesthetic. I
Because
thought
you're a
my
loser who
aesthetic
tries
was
to match.
perfect.
Don't look at the
I
fact
am
that
a
I try to
loser who
match mine
tries
with
to
the
match.
gayest one.
Yours fits so well.
Yeah. I went, what makes this man look even more queer? Flowers.
Bestie, you dumbass.
The bugs are in
Woo!
my
I did it for
Sonia
us,
Lacuna
okay?
Purgatory!
Ooh.
New
Item
unlocked in your
unlocked.
design.
Yeah.
Well, like whoa.
Wow.
Wowzers.
Yippee. Well, I was gonna play an epic prank on 8.
You can't prank me.
I was gonna prank you in
You're
the
not
best way
allowed to
possible. That
prank
would have,
me.
if the prank failed, it would have failed on me instead of on you.
Then that's hilarious.
Yeah. I was gonna prank you. You bitch. I'm so sorry. I'm not actually,
Oh.
but I'm so sorry.
You know what?
Hey. That's
Hi.
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Just for that.
Excuse me.
I know you got queen in there, bitch. Fuck you.
Ooh. Nice.
I was gonna play that prank on you.
Oh.
I'm just taking a random deck.
What?
I just needed to play a card.
What?
I hate to
you
add
have
insult to
three.
injury, but
I love to add insult to injury.
Done. I was just beating
Okay.
the fuck out of Levi right now.
Okay. I can't let 8 have a good deck.
You just gave him
No.
a better deck.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Kinda did. I'm kinda into this.
Okay.
You're-
What?
Hold on, I have to get to my therapy
I'm so
mindset.
sorry.
My therapist.
Oh, you're gonna
So
turn into
I
your
think
therapist?
We're gonna need to
Yeah,
hold
I'm
marriage
just gonna-
counseling after this. For some reason. Yeah, that's
Ooh.
what I thought.
That was close.
Not such a good deck after all, huh?
I mean, it was
Told you.
fine.
It's got bad colors.
You're a bad
Fuck
color.
you,
Is it all yellow?
bitch.
What?
Welcome back,
Are
Finn.
you kidding me?
Bitch.
Oh wow.
You freaking kidding me?
I'm eating the paper for my straws right now.
Oh, jump
Or
scare.
not my straws, my
Relatable. I forced
lollipop.
August to bully Levi.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You're the reason we're in counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have had a kid if you weren't prepared for one. Did you just change it to the same fucking color? You idiot!
That's such a fucking troll move. I love it.
Prank of a century.
Playing 8 in the back of a Denny's parking lot after this. Levi and August are getting marriage counseling.
Bestie, no!
Guys, I'm finally live.
I'm
Wow.
gonna sob.
Oh wait, you got
The
your
language
live
that
Notification
this whole
finally
time.
went out.
Hey, stream.
August,
Please.
I have no other choice.
No!
Who's the one with 20 cards now, bitch?
Not August, it's 19.
What?
Close enough.
Oh, I like
Bitch.
moving my mouse back and forth through my deck
Hey, what
and
color do you have?
watching it.
Red.
That's what I love the most about having a big deck.
Yeah, call it 3.
It's very
It's so
impressive.
fun. It is. It's fun shuffling through like this. Oh, yikes.
Thanks.
You know what? Should I be kind to 8?
No.
Okay. I had a reverse.
What?
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah,
Hey,
fair
who's the
enough.
motherfucker with 20 cards
I
now?
got the big
Yeah.
deck now. Big deck gang.
What a big deck you got.
Oh. Whoa.
Oh,
Fuck you.
Whoa.
I get to bully you more now.
let's
Yeah, I'll let you know the second that someone leaves,
Double
Finn.
win.
Don't you worry.
Oh!
I don't like that
Oh,
noise.
yeah. Woo.
I hate this game.
I got one of the best decks right now. Thank you for
Oh,
calling
thank
me out.
God.
I'm never fast
Oh,
enough at
gimme.
that shit. You can try again. I'll give you one more chance. I called Uno!
Not fast enough.
I hit it before I placed the
Never
card.
fast enough.
Stream saw my
Gotta be
little
quicker than
mouse
that.
over the Uno. Fuck you. I'm shitting in your shoes.
Whoa,
I'm shitting
that's
in
not
your
cool, man.
pants.
What?
What?
Oh man, not cool.
Huh?
Not cool.
Things got heated.
Today's
Merry
stream is
Christmas.
Ray comes up with the most
What?
unique insults he can think of. Fuck you. Just a
I like that idea.
Excuse me. Can I have a turn now?
No.
no. No, they're busy bullying me.
Correct.
They don't have any fucking green, even though it's the best color.
I'm
Agreed.
so sorry.
You,
Haha,
why are you bullying me
Ray.
back?
I hope this color lasts until it gets all the way to you, Ray.
I have no idea what A has in his sleeves. It could be another piss card. It could be
Glitter in your
Death.
shirt.
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I stuck some tarot cards in the deck.
just suddenly there's death, the moon, an
Lovers.
ace. I don't know how we got an ace.
Yeah, might be.
There's a Joker.
What?
Yeah, might be.
There's my tattoo artist business card.
There's a card for the local Chinese place.
It's a takeout menu.
My old shopping list
It's
from
an
the
entire
other week.
take-up and you just fold it up into the size of a card.
Somehow
My
I
voter's
plays
license.
8 debit card.
My AA chip.
My AA
Piece of
chip.
cardboard. That's painted to say definitely not a fake Uno card.
Bro. A dose card.
A Dunkin' Donuts donut.
Oh gosh.
Starting to get into non-cards.
The entire donut, Jesus.
How do I even fit that in there?
And the Band-Aid I lost an hour
Made
ago.
everything sticky,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Both of those sure did. In very vastly different ways. My entire cat.
My entire cat.
My
They're
dogs.
fighting now.
What the?
Finn says an
Are you-
iPhone.
Yeah.
Real.
Specifically one of the small iPhones.
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of the like old iPhones, or even like
Yeah.
an iPod.
Nano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
Yeah.
An MP3 with the earbuds still attached, playing some emo
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Finn said a Samsung tablet folded.
Yeah.
My school iPad that was stolen from me.
My school schedule.
Bag of cocaine.
A random office worker I pulled from the street.
The card that reminds me of my neurologist appointment.
My IUD expiration card.
A soap dispenser.
A paper
bucket full
towel
of
from the
rainwater.
bathroom.
In a bucket full of water.
Finn says the time card for my therapy appointment.
Mm-hmm.
A fridge magnet.
A Pokemon card.
An entire fridge full of only Dr. Pepper cherry.
Oh,
Oh, that sounds so good right now.
kind of does.
Oh, Finn says a litter box.
Yeah, it might be.
Kitten, who will actively piss in that litter box and on top of all the cards
True.
while having direct eye contact with you.
True.
The game exploding kittens.
True. All the cards from it, including the box.
Yep.
Cards
One of
against
the-
And the
humanity
instructions.
And the expansion packs.
How many
One of the
expansion
little-
packs?
The little pink people from the Game of Life.
Yeah.
One
An
of the
entire
cars
group
from a game of
people
life.
having a D&D session.
Can we
Bomb.
interrupt the bit for a sec to say we all knew we were gay when we put two blue ones next to each other in life, right? Like we all did that.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know
Oh
what
yeah.
I did.
I filled my car up with blue ones.
Yeah, I always had a gay couple, and yeah.
What are we referencing here?
The
Do you
game
know
of
the Game
life.
of Life? Life?
Oh,
board game?
yes.
Wait,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, it took me a second. I got it.
The Game of Life is also on Steam. I think
Oh,
at some
you
point.
Cannot play it on Mac, and therefore I got mine refunded.
What?
I don't even have a Mac, but Scoot does.
That's awful.
They say it's Mac compatible, but it's fucking not.
Oh.
What happens
Damn.
when you try to
Don't
open
buy
it?
into the bullshit. Don't.
Mhm.
What
Don't
I
happens
won't.
when
do
You've
it.
made
I
sure
think
I
I
won't.
wasted like $3 on it when I bought it
Oof.
because it was on sale.
Oh, I was about to say $3.
Damn.
It was on a huge sale. So I bought it. So it was like $6 total because I bought one for me and then one for Scoot, and then Scoot couldn't even fucking play it, so we got it refunded.
Finn's continuing the bit and said an
Okay,
IKEA
okay.
bed frame.
An
Yeah.
IKEA bed frame's really nice. Blow high on top of the IKEA bed frame.
A P.
I'm
Blow high is
master.
the shark. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I know because I watched the clip and he's fucking Swedish.
A
I don't currently
succulent.
watch him because his stuff just isn't really appealing to me right now, and sometimes I am heavily reminded he is a cis, straight white guy who is
Real.
not disabled.
Real.
Same.
Sometimes he says things that just makes you go, "Ooh, buddy, I wish you did even a fraction of research."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have
I
you guys
fucking-
ran like your mouse over the cards really quickly?
Yeah.
doing that this whole
Me
time!
and
Yeah.
Cassie were just talking about how it's really fun to do. It's like a little stim.
Yeah, it's really
It
nice when you have a
is.
shit ton of cards.
Yeah.
hmm
Mm,
What?
an entire case
I was
of
sitting here
Fanta.
like, damn. I wonder if anyone else is doing this.
The entire case
Oh,
of
come
Fago.
on. We're all
the
neurodivergent.
Fanta.
Of course we're doing it.
Thank
Oh,
God.
an entire case of Shirley Temple. Ooh,
Speaking of
but
Shirley
not,
Temple.
but not the Shirley Temple 8 cents.
Speaking of the Shirley
Not that
Temple,
fake
I think
ass
I should go
bit.
crack that one open. Hold on.
Animal
I think I'ma
crackers
crack that open.
In my
soup.
soup, monkeys and rabbits.
rabbits.
loop
Halloween
de loop.
decorations. That's what I'm putting in next.
Me too, Finn. They're my favorite drink. I fucking love
A
that
bottle
shit.
of piss.
What?
Directly from a gamer's room.
What the heck?
It's neon green for some reason.
Oh,
heck?
they really didn't drink any water.
They drink a whole lot of Mountain Dew though.
I love Mountain Dew.
It shows.
It shows.
You're gay and it shows.
True.
Yeah.
My icon shows that plenty.
Thank you.
What? I
Oh.
love how surprised Levi is anytime anything happens in the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that my current tick is what?
It's such a funny but
Relatable.
also unfortunate tick.
I need tick or stem, because those are two different things.
Yes.
Is it involuntary and painful?
Um,
There we go.
I don't think
Tea.
painful
It's
is
not, it's
that.
a stem. Your brain just wants to do it really bad, so you do it, versus a tick literally forcing your body to do it.
Mhm.
I know because I get both, and that shit hurts. So just, I need clarification for people sometimes.
Oh.
Apparently, the Shirley Temple soda is like caffeine free.
What? That doesn't
Yeah.
feel right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can drink it.
Not if I can help it.
Eight's just like placed a hole in the bottom of the soda. Have you guys ever had apple soda?
No, but
No,
that sounds kind of good.
it does.
It's fucking slaps. Get the
For
fucking
some reason, it makes me think that it would taste like apple cider, but I doubt it.
It
It actually
tastes.
kind of
Aw.
does.
Ooh, okay.
Because
The
it's like
Shirley
got the
Temples
bubbly in the
tastes
apple.
funny,
And
but I
it tastes
really
real
like the
good.
design.
It's like a slightly less bubbly apple cider.
Oh shit!
I hate the
it's my turn.
design. I hate the design on,
And not in
what's the
fucking
word?
Brussels
On
sprouts.
Prospect.
Oh.
Oh.
And you did place down another 7 for no reason in particular.
Tee
But
What? Why is my room so fucking hot all of a sudden?
Speaking of things being hot, I got off school at like 12:25 today. Because
hot.
yeah, because it's like 101 degrees out,
Damn.
Wow.
and bus drivers keep
Imagine being
we're
sent
trying to
home in
pass out.
that weather. Cannot fucking relate.
Nope.
To
I
be
live
fair,
in Arizona.
bus
We
drivers are
didn't even get
old,
sent
so
home. We didn't even get sent home for fucking snow either. So like anytime we
Yeah.
had extreme weather, we were just told fucking go. Just
yeah,
go. We had dust devils coming out and they were like, no, just fucking go to school.
crazy.
Stay in school. I'm like, you bitch. And I had to walk home in a dust devil.
Ugh.
That shit sucked. You're a bitch. Fuck.
Ooh.
Mwah.
This music be jazzing.
Oh god.
I don't even know if stream can hear it, but it be jazzing. You can technically change the music, but I don't feel like it because it's jazzing.
Truly is.
I turned off the game music. I've got my own going.
What?
Loser. Imagine being able to have multiple things
What?
open to where you could play music. I could never.
Don't you stream on a laptop?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a gaming
like
laptop, and I actually could. I just don't fucking feel like it because it's too many things to manage.
You know, that's fair.
Gaming laptops aren't worth the money.
Especially since I don't want to deal with muted
Yeah.
VODs, but also like I tried getting the fucking sound meter banana shit, whatever.
I
and
use a
it's
different
too
thing.
complicated for my stupid little brain.
She
If
banana on my
you use
nanner.
OBS, I use a plugin.
She ban on my nanner.
I'm that shit.
Same. I also want it.
Hmm.
Why does my icon kind of look like he's I'm tossing myself out. I am defenestrating myself. I think that's what the word is. Tossing myself out of a window. I'm actively tossing myself out of a window.
Oh.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. They were just trying to get you to draw 4, but you already got to draw 4 anyways. You bitch! KSMP LA Uno, but it's only them saying the word bitch.
True. Oh fuck! It's my turn.
Have y'all ever watched a Star Kid musical?
I've thought about it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I've
Have
only
y'all
thought
ever
about it.
watched The Trail to Oregon?
I have not.
Boy, do I have a musical for you.
I wonder if it's the Trail of Oregon.
Really good. It's
I've only
definitely
ever
good.
Now I'm
and one of their
curious. What is
best
the
shows for
defenestrations of
sure.
Prague? Was it
If you
like
cannot
a
tell, this is
series
my
of people throwing
sarcasm
someone else out the
voice.
windows? Like like
it's a-
serial
it's a-
killing, but instead it was serial defenestrations?
For a comedy musical, it's actually really good. But as a serious musical, it is dog shit. Because it's not meant to be serious.
Yeah. So is it bad from like a musical perspective? Like,
No, the music's fucking amazing.
okay.
The singers are great.
What?
What I'm hearing is that
Actors
it's good.
amazing. But also, it is so that. You know?
Maybe.
What?
Oh, thank fucking God. You did that to yourself, 8.
Yeah, no. When I was getting out of the car to go to school today, I heard someone lean over to one of their friends and go about me, by the way. That kid made me sit at a different table.
That
They're
is
an
so
editor in my
fucking
second
funny, Finn.
period. And I
Protestants
was
threw
like, I
Christians
didn't
out
do
windows because of religious
anything.
disputes. That is,
Ooh,
I can't get over that.
I
That
felt
is
so
so fucking
bad.
funny. I love
But they
that.
were
That's
just,
probably
like,
my new
upset
favorite
over the
religious
seating.
dispute.
Dumbass. I could not relate.
I was like,
I'm only ever.
oh.
Like, what dumb ass are we?
So sad.
Now Levi's the one with 20 cards.
Haha. Maybe that's what Levi gets.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm so glad that I'm not taking my computer sciences class in person for one reason.
Hmm.
The last time I took a computer science class in person, it was 90% cis guys who
here you go, bestie.
did not shower.
Oh, thanks.
You're
Red
welcome.
40 jump scare.
Oh.
I moved the Shirley Temple so I could read the ingredients. Pure cane
Oh.
sugar, citrus acid, potassium, something something, a preservative, and red 40.
Wow.
Rip. Hope you're not allergic.
Hope I am.
Same.
Don't. We do not need to rush into the ER mid live stream.
That okay.
That'll make for a great live stream, if we're being honest.
It would. Like, imagine me uploading that clip on TikTok.
Oh, it'd blow
Imagine
up for
having to
sure.
experience it though.
Meh.
We're content
Mm,
creators, it'd be
okay,
worth it.
Logan.
Drugs that make you
Your
happy.
mother? Ouch. I'm going to have cunnilingus with your mother.
What?
My mom has a husband and is upstairs.
And he's famous on YouTube.
Yeah.
Are you a minor and disabled and
Yeah.
queer
Yeah,
and
I'm just
neurodivergent? Welcome back, Scoot. Don't question the shit I'm talking. We're talking shit and shit talking.
What was the war? Was it just like between the Protestants and Christians, or was it like a full-on war?
Because I think I could edit
Aw.
this like decently on my video editor software, but also I hate my voice.
Have you tried asking really politely?
Yeah, but I have
Oh.
no monies.
Oh.
So they slapped me in the face. and then shut the
Religious
door on
conflict
me.
war? Love that. I
Right on
love
my
that.
foot.
That's impolite. Ow.
Yeah. It hurt. Big owies.
Yeah. Very low soda.
What?
Wow.
Mhm.
It's still reading the Shirley Temple soda thing.
Damn.
Just-
No, I'm actually reading my own label.
Oh.
It says I'm
The
low.
label-
Oh
Well,
shit. Hussite Wars and
Oh.
then the third star the
Oh.
30-year. Wow.
Well, fix that. Eat some ramen.
Yummy.
Yes.
I
Wow.
once
If I
ate.
didn't just have a sandwich, that sounds good.
I once
was on
ate
your
ramen
sandwich?
for all 3 meals for a
Sandwich.
week, and then I started going fucking mad because
so
I
descriptive.
was so high sodium that I started to just go fucking batshit.
Yeah.
So, fun fact: watch your sodium levels before you go fucking crazy.
Crazy.
You'll become
I was
so
crazy.
paranoid so quickly.
I'm always
If you
paranoid.
Was
already
it
have a
because
mental
they just needed a
illness.
word to be
Same.
able to describe it? Or was it like
Fuck you.
this
My
happened so we're
sandwich
gonna name
had
it?
ham, turkey, and then I've been doing this really weird thing where I put chips on my sandwich.
Oh no, that's not weird. That's so cool.
No, that's
Oh,
not weird.
God.
That's
I have to
good.
do that all
I
the time
don't-
because the texture of a soft sandwich can sometimes bother
Yeah.
me and make me gag.
Yeah, I don't do that because I fucking hate combining things.
Fair.
And it makes me want to commit violent acts. But it's a normal thing that people do.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
know, I just feel the need to preface that it's weird before I say it.
Everything you do
I
is
feel like
weird. You
the
don't need
window
preface
throwings
shit,
of
you just
Prague
go,
is such a
"This is
funnier
something
name,
I,
though, if we're
Creative
being
8,
honest.
does, and we know it's weird.
True.
True. What?
I'm
What?
so glad the words soda pop are like imprinted on this bottle.
You would never know it was Soda Pop if you hadn't read
Wow.
it.
Wow. I was
Wow.
really scared it was gonna be alcoholic.
I
I'm
want
scared.
one whole alcohol, but I'm gonna wait my once in a week.
Your
It's
one
like
whole
6 months
alcohol.
until I get my tattoo. Woo. I need to get more water soon. Because my water bottle's empty right now.
Yeah, mine too.
And someone just redeemed Hydrate, and I have no water right now. I have
Quick,
some
go
in the
now.
fridge, to clarify.
Go, go, go.
Go, go, go.
My water bottle is
What?
in my backpack.
I'll quickly run to the kitchen right after I place my next card.
Okay.
Mm.
Or not, I guess. Okay. Bye.
What?
Guys, watch this.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Right? That's what I
That's
thought.
very good.
Now we don't have to worry about waiting.
Exactly.
Bitch,
My
just get
turn.
me or give me another fucking draw too.
That I did.
They're fucking hydrated.
What?
Reason I'm out of breath.
I love you surprised, even though you were the one that gave me the 7.
I fucking
What?
fucking ran to the kitchen to grab my water.
Oh my god!
Scoot, if you
This
say
hand
more
is
than a
going all the
day,
way around.
I'm
I love
fucking
it.
beating you up. Scoot,
God,
this water right the
What?
fuck now.
this deck.
Why I beat your ass.
Are you kidding me?
No.
What the fuck?
I'm
I
literally like
started to-
panting right now. Oh my god. Never fucking doing that again.
What?
I started to drink the Shirley Temple to make me not tired, and now I'm even more tired.
What the fuck?
I didn't do
Just
anything
fucking
today
get up
either.
and get water.
What?
Does the Shirley Temple? No, you said the Shirley Temple doesn't have caffeine. Maybe that's why.
Mm-mm.
It's making you eat because it doesn't have the caffeine. Caffeine.
I drink like
to make you awake.
Caffeine.
yeah. I drank like a third of a Monster today.
That also might be making
That's-
you tired.
That's very little, considering it's you.
Yeah, it was a leftover one from like some other night. It's been in my fridge.
Mm.
I drink no monsters, so I don't get re-addicted to caffeine.
God, I love caffeine.
I love it so much, and I miss it, but it's unhealthy for me,
Mm-hmm.
so
I'm
I'm
sensitive. I
avoiding
can't
it.
have that.
Don't
Oh,
listen
you're
to them,
fucking
guys.
car still?
I can have it. It
Caffeine's
just
great.
doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything
So-
for me. I'm just
Well,
but
it
like
technically doesn't
placebo.
do anything for me besides make my heart rate accelerate and give me a seizure.
Oh,
So
jeez.
oh,
that's why I don't drink caffeine.
I don't blame you.
I used to drink it all the time because existence is pain.
I'm trying not to use this blue zero because if I do, I'm gonna have to swap hands with Levi, and Levi
Okay.
has the most cards out of
I'm having
everybody.
a
I'm not
chloroseptic.
doing that to myself.
Not
What?
sponsored.
mama,
But these bitches are the only things that can fix my earaches. But that's also why I might be sounding a bit different right now. 'Cause I got a whole ass chloroseptic in my mouth, and it's like 10 times the size of a normal cough drop.
Whoa.
Sorry, not sorry.
It's okay.
Once again, I had other cards I could place down. I just didn't feel like it.
You guys stop placing blue, please.
I'm just bullying. All I know how to do. Bitch. I think the
What?
best thing about being a PNG YouTuber instead of Facecam or VTuber is that I just do the stupidest shit in real life and no one can see.
I used to do that when I didn't do face cam.
Yeah. I just did the like fuckboy like
Yeah.
lip bite. No one was able to see that.
You know, the internet has to see when I do it.
Yeah. It's cringe.
Mm-hmm. That's why they have to see.
Imagine if we all had a +2, like 2 +
I keep
2s,
waiting
and
for
just
it. I
did
keep
in,
waiting
like,
for
a
it.
round of 8.
Ha.
Ooh, thank you, Levi.
Aww.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Why? What
This is gross.
is this?
But also, fuck you, Captain. You had shit cards.
Agreed.
Egregious.
You can woo me back though.
What does the word
No.
egregious mean?
No, I think you need to try.
No.
Hold on. Hold on.
No, I think you need to try.
It means outstandingly
Fine.
bad and shocking,
Oh, thank you.
and it doesn't
No.
mean what I thought Gregorius meant.
Yeah. Fuck you, bitch. I
Oh.
love how in canon KSMP lore, Ray's like this really kind guy who's very nice to everyone that like matters to him. But now this is KSMP lore, and he is canonically very, very competitive and calls people a bitch in Uno. There are only 2 ways you can get Ray to be mean to you, and that's be in war against him and play Uno against him.
The 2 against.
KSMP Levi doesn't even know how to play Uno, but then accidentally always wins.
Hi, Bobby. You're
I'm just-
awake. Hello, handsome.
Activity. I'm just imagining
we-
Levi putting like Kingdoms SMP Levi just putting down
I can't
random
even see my
cards
screen.
and praying.
Yeah.
That's
Literally.
what he's doing right now.
I don't
Bro.
even know how to count to 10. I'm just like, the shape looks the same, so I can put it down, I
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. We're just talking about how this is definitely canon to the KSMP now, and it's the only time that Ray will be mean to anybody, other than being in war.
What? Oh, shucks.
Oh, jeez.
This game sucks.
You suck. Dick.
Probably.
What?
Volunteering myself as tribute.
Thanks.
Mm. Boop. Happy birthday.
Happy
Thanks.
birthday.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler. Jinx.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz
Feliz
Navidad.
Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Espero.
I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
Felicidad.
Oh, I forgot I placed on a 7. I just fucking completely spaced
Oh man.
on my legs. Oh,
What?
they stole back my tech.
Thank you.
That was so mean of you.
I've been meaning to give it back to you. You know, it just took some time.
Can it triple stack? Yes.
Oh.
Now is the time to yeah.
Oh.
You're fucking wrecked. Right now I'm stimming by like just turning in my gaming chair slightly, so I'm just like spinning,
Real.
like just back and forth, like a little sway.
I'm moving the arms of my chair.
You ready to get bullied, eh?
No.
What?
Or get right. Oh fuck. Well, I can bully August instead.
Get fucked on.
So August, do you want more cards or no turn?
No turn, please. Thank you.
I'll be a kind bully.
I get to choose my punishment. Welcome back, Brandy. Can you calm down, please? You're disrupting the boy.
You get more. You get double the more cards now.
Brandy, stop it. Thank you.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Get wrecked.
Damn.
I only place this down when I absolutely do not have the color. I hoard them, bitches. Don't worry, I'll be kind this time. I'll place down a 9.
And I can do this.
What?
I just keep doing the fucking gay little hand pose, not the wrist flick one, but the other one.
All I can imagine is hand on hip.
No, the like where they have like their fingers in the palm and they like pull it up
Oh yeah,
into the side. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about.
I did it.
I'm not gay enough for that.
There you are.
I
What's
am
that audio
just
that's like,
feminine gay
I ain't
for
that
it.
gay.
I may be gay, but $50 is $50.
Nah, I'm selling 20.
In this economy, you want me to be straight, you have to pay me $50 a week.
Oh, shucks.
I'll be able to afford one internet bill.
One internet bill?
Yeah, one internet bill.
One internet.
It's like a
Wow.
little less than 100 a month.
Hmm.
Yeah, mine was like 80, 90. Ah, 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 ah.
You get more time if you draw, just so you know.
I don't want to draw.
Here
I
it depends on the
refuse.
state.
Me when I
Okay.
need to sketch.
Like minimum wage here is like
Me
14
too.
something.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna draw that
Oh.
one thing that we were gonna do for the fucking whatever it's called. I don't even
Yeah.
know if they got the team out because I just went. No, I'm gonna draw myself in a drawing instead. Which is now a Twitch emote. If you have this subscription, you can just emote
15,
me
56. Wow.
in a
Yeah,
jar.
New York is one of the higher ones
There's
too.
three
Wait,
jars.
Why?
We have 14 something.
cat
I've
on
seen
None
other
of
states
them-
that have like 11
None of them
something,
are
which is fucking
milk
wild to me.
jars. They're wholesome.
I don't remember what the
I can put you in a
federal
little jar and shake you
federal
around is
minimum
what
wage
I'm
is,
hearing.
but like a lot of
Dude, I
states
said
don't adhere to
$50
it.
to be straight. I'm fucking gay with you.
Yeah, it gets insane in the states. That's
What?
part
I'm
of
not getting
what's
paid to date
making
you.
it difficult for me to like figure out where I want
You
to
try to
live when
say
I get the
that ri-
chance,
that-
because I don't want to choose a state where the minimum wage is
I'm
fucking
questioning your
dog
life.
shit, you know? Like, yeah, there's a fair chance that cost of living is going to be lower
No.
there, but
No,
it's not going to be low enough to fucking to
No, Sheldon, you're sitting on my mouse.
make it like
Yeah,
okay,
Sheldon,
you know?
God.
How could he?
Sheldon, I love Sheldon. Tell Sheldon I
He
say
was-
hi.
He was the worst in
Okay,
Big
Augie
Bang
says
Theory.
hi.
What?
Yeah,
I
well,
love
he's
that big boy.
autism, so
It's
I
fine.
can't get
Nice.
my.
He's cis boy who got early diagnosed with autism and then let it be an excuse for everything instead of learning any
I've
social
thought about
norms
it.
and how to.
I honestly
actually
kind of want
Guys,
to. And
no,
isn't it
wait.
like isn't it
person,
fairly easy to
especially a woman.
Yeah.
immigrate to Canada?
He's a bitch.
To be fair, Sheldon was never actually Well, I think in
Yeah.
Young Sheldon he was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
Young
in
Sheldon,
Big
they
Bang
actually do it
Theory,
way better.
yeah. In Big Bang Theory, they're like he is not autistic, so they're allowed to
Yeah.
with him.
But he's exactly
I am in
like
fact white and coming
the
from
autistic
America.
guys I've met who've used their autism to be a dick instead
Oh.
of learning boundaries. Remember,
That's-
mental illness is not an excuse to be a dick. That's why we have things like therapy and medication. Fuck you. Medication.
Wow.
Ow.
I take my antidepressants and testosterone so I don't kill people.
True.
I got anger issues thanks to my autism.
On God. My therapist
didn't
was
know.
having me write down symptoms.
Real.
Mm.
I didn't know that my anger issues were linked to autism until I got my autism like fake, well, not fake, but like unofficial diagnosis. And they were like, you know, that's probably where your anger issues are from. And I'm like, what? And it was like, yeah, you get angry at like sensory issues and like people pushing your boundaries mostly. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that's an autism symptom. And I'm like, what?
Really?
Yeah. Especially if you get like irrationally angry.
That's insane.
Yeah. Fuck you. Like, I'm not genuinely angry when I'm playing this game. When I'm genuinely angry, it is way worse.
I would imagine we would be able to tell if you were actually angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we're playing silly little card game, smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're playing a little we're playing a little silly card game. We are not making Ray want to actively stab a person.
8creative_reference.
Not this
Holy
time.
shit. 8creative_reference. Holy shit. 3 8s in a row. Oh my god.
Three eights.
Oh my
There's one more
god.
eight, Levi. Levi.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, I'm bowling 8 now.
Sorry, I'm
Get wrecked.
resisting the urge to bite a bottle cap or my can or my
The soda pop.
Yeah,
yeah, the
relatable.
cap of it.
Yeah, it's just a bottle
'cause
cap.
Yeah, because it looks really biteable. Like it looks like if I
it
dug my
like
teeth in it, it would make a
The
nice
metal
hole.
one with the ridges.
Yeah.
I love those. You have for me angry, Scoot, and you got scared, and that's proof that I'm not a good person when I'm angry. So I do my best to keep control of it because I don't want to be that person. Well, I am that person, but I don't want to be like,
Known as that person.
yeah. I don't want to like do that. That's mean. And scary. We don't need scary people in our life. My fucking doll's hair just fell off into my hand from my chair. My doll is on my desk
What
as
the
far
fuck?
away as possible from my chair.
That's a little
This is what
spooky.
happens when you DIY a weave. I'm fine with being skipped. I don't even got any good cards to play right now because August got fucking shit cards.
Don't blame me. I just got them.
Ow.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that your cards were shit.
Oh fuck.
Levi's cards were shit.
No, Mama's cards
Yeah.
were shit.
My mama,
Levi's just quiet. Yeah.
my mama was getting donuts. I don't know if she's home yet or
I
not, but
want
she got
donuts.
donuts. Because
You
she
You should
works
give me a
in
donut.
donuts now.
Mhm.
Whoa.
I'll give you a donut.
Me too. He's a cutie.
Like,
Do not ask me more questions.
what?
Someone end this, please.
I love being entertaining. I love being watchable. I love being followable. I love being subscribable. I love being content.
This game has been going on for like a half hour. The last one also went on for like half an
You
hour.
made a grave mistake, baby.
Nuh-uh.
What?
I'm saying
Wow.
Levi made a mistake. I'm sneaking about.
Yummy.
What?
What?
Even better. You got a 0?
Nah, I got
Oh, no,
7.
you got a 7.
Oh god.
On God. Oh, we've now been streaming for an hour and a half. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
What?
The first game took like an hour to complete.
It's called the grind.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
Uh.
Uh-uh.
Uh-uh. No Uno for you. No winning this game. No
What?
winning this
What
game.
the flag?
Why?
I was gonna +2 Levi.
Oh no.
That's okay.
What the
So I know what
fuck?
card Levi has.
No.
You have to play the 5. Levi won for the second time.
Once
Uh,
again,
no.
proving that KSMP Levi doesn't
Hold
know
on.
what he's doing, but he always wins.
This is becoming more and more canon.
Hmm.
No.
You can't change your profile in the settings.
I know. I've tried a million times. I think that every time I pause the game, it'll work again. And it doesn't.
There once was a ship that put to sea in the name of
Name was a ship for the
Oh my gosh,
voyage.
wait. Why would you do that? Why would you start singing that? Because now I'm about to drop. I'm about to info dump. I'm about
May the
to
weatherman come to
about to
bring
bring
us
us
about the
sugar
gay
and
pirate
tea
about the gay
and rum.
pirates because the gay
One
because the gay
day
because the
when the
gay
trouble
pirate
is done,
because
we'll take our
the gay
leave and
pirates.
What gay pirates?
Tell us
Oh
about
my
the gay
god.
pirates,
No,
Levi.
no,
Oh,
because
wanna hear
our
about
flag
you're
means
smart.
death?
So okay, so our flag means death finally got like promo
Yeah.
information and stuff
Ooh.
today.
Ooh.
There's some not leaked, but like promo photos that came out of
Oh, I
Blackbeard
saw
and
one of them on
Steed,
TikTok.
and
Yeah,
they
it was
look
so
so
good.
freaking good. And then I read an
Ooh.
article that of these people that were on set during the production, and they were saying so many good things about how just it's gonna be apparently nothing like we expect it to be, but also like amazing. And specifically, they also during the in the article they stop, get off my mouse. They interviewed
Go, Sheldon.
the guy that plays Izzy Hands, and Izzy literally revealed during the interview that it's
Taika
canon that he
Waititi.
is unrequited in love with Blackbeard, and that's pretty cool. Get off my mouse. Fuck you.
Taika,
Go
he's the
crazy, go
director.
stupid, Sheldon.
Taika
That's
Waititi,
why-
yeah.
Yeah.
And Blackbeard.
He's also fucking
I love Taika.
New Zealand.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a
fuck
Kiwi.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
He is New
That's
Zealand.
why all of his characters have fucking New Zealand accents, because he doesn't change his accent.
He
Yeah,
actually
he's one of-
did
he's
no
one of those
studying
actors-
for the
New
role
Zealand
at all.
accent.
Yeah, he's one
He-
of
he-
those actors that never changes his
He read
accent.
a wiki page and then said, "I don't feel like doing research on Blackbeard," and he made the character as hell. Like he just made it himself.
And
He
gay.
did so good.
Or-
That's
Honestly
literally it.
based.
Yeah. But actually, the season 2 got a better budget, so they moved production from LA to New Zealand because Taika wanted it
that's
to be in
sick.
its homeland, and it's, so there's a lot of like
course
cool
he does.
scenery, since it's like at sea and stuff,
Zealand.
and it's really freaking cool. And also there's gonna be new characters in season 2. One being the famous pirate Anne Bonny.
Yes.
So
Ooh,
that's gonna be
yes.
freaking hot.
The woman that would flash men with her tits right before she killed them.
My
I hope
god.
that she does that in the show. I mean, I saw ass in the
Oh,
show,
yeah.
so there's no reason they can't show tits, right?
Exactly.
It's rated M.
Yes, and
I
a
think.
titty.
You know, but
Rated
that's
M for,
like literally what she
titties.
did because pirates weren't allowed to be women at the time. So she'd not only kill these people, she'd also right before they die, like bruise their manhood.
My
Nice.
go.
Yeah, I am muy excited. As a child of 2 divorces now, I need this season. I need this
Seriously,
season so
seriously.
badly.
I watched the last season with my family, and I think I might ask to just watch it on my own. I'm like sick of watching stuff
Might get
with my family
intimate.
because I'm like 5 years younger than my youngest sibling. So the age
Yeah.
gap makes things uncomfortable.
Mm.
Fair.
It's
I
like
watched the
watching
first
stuff
season
with
with
your
my mom.
parents.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be watching the second one
Exactly,
with
Finn.
her.
Exactly.
I probably will be no, I most likely will be moved out before them anyway, so I can't watch it with her. But
Mm.
it
I
will.
called it this time. You can't fucking call me on shit.
I've started watching What We Do in the Shadows with her, and that I'm so glad that she is who she is because it's so awkward for me.
Mhm.
But she just loves it, so I don't care. But yeah, the amount of penis jokes and erection jokes and ass and biddies and so much
Yeah.
in that show.
Me
so
too.
Much.
It made me literally
I'm
lose
now
my
allowed to watch
mind
it because it's got horror
when
aspects to it, and
I was
am
watching the
traumatized.
like the behind the scenes and stuff.
That's
And how they
I could watch it if I
decided
wanted to, but I don't watch
to
it
change
because
up
I
the
don't.
zombies
gory,
and
but not
like
really scary per se.
the fungus and
Yeah,
everything, and they made it so much
I
more
have a lot
realistic,
of
and they
issues
made
with
it like a
horror.
hive mind, and I fucking
Yeah.
love it.
You fucking
I
stole
lose my
cards,
mind
you
over it
bitch.
whenever I think about it. I
Yeah.
swear.
I had the play of the century too.
Yeah, I bet you did. Now I do.
Mm-hmm.
666. Who's gonna do it?
Yep. And
We just need one more
especially
six,
because of the
Captain.
part
Give
about
us
them
one more
being
six.
hive
One
mind
more six.
is that
Yeah!
the part that like makes
We
me lose
did
my
it,
mind
guys.
is
Wait, I didn't.
the like stepping on it
We can-
like a
we
mile
can
away
call it in
alerts all of them. Like, so
I can
fucking
never call
cool.
this shit in time. I like how you were fully
Yep,
willing
it's
to
just
own up to the fact that you
everything
didn't do
about the
it.
way that they changed it.
But the game was like,
my
nah.
As much
God,
as I am
Cameron
kind
is
of
gone.
sad to not have
Oh my god, how many
the
sixes are there gonna be? What?
um
You
No
didn't
more
do
sixes.
the
as
bit.
much as I'm
The
sad to
bit.
not have the
Fuck your bit.
spores, I totally understand why they didn't do the spores because it really isn't realistic.
What?
Like that wouldn't happen in real life.
Unless you have consent to do it.
But yeah, I can't
Do
get
not
over it.
fuck your bits.
Hey bestie. Hey bestie.
With your
I love
bitty.
you.
Love you too.
3 rounds now. 3.
I don't know how.